You became a high-priority target, and that didn't happen by accident. It happened because your presence disrupted systems that survive on silence and control. And while the public is distracted by surface-level narratives, something entirely different is happening off-camera. Closed-door meetings, pressure behind the scenes, quiet panic, and rushed decisions as people in power realize their old strategies no longer work on you. You've started a case without meaning to, and now your name represents a headline they don't know how to manage because awareness is spreading. Systems are being questioned, deals are being made, and cracks are forming, not out of chaos, but out of truth being forced into the open. This isn't about fear or revenge. It's about clarity, intelligence, and refusing to be reduced to a pawn. You are becoming informed, alert, and strategic, and that alone makes you a variable the system can no longer ignore. This is the moment where ordinary people stop watching from the sidelines and start moving with purpose, discipline, unity, and courage. Before we go deeper, pause for a second. Hit the like button, subscribe to help us reach 20,000 subscribers, and comment Mr. Ledger to show you're locked in, because if you're still here, it means you're ready to think sharper, move smarter, and understand what's really happening. You didn't chase the spotlight. You didn't ask to be noticed. Yet suddenly, all eyes are on you, and the systems that thrive on control are scrambling. Why? Because your actions, your voice, your presence are impossible to ignore. You disrupted patterns that many are comfortable staying in, and disruption naturally attracts attention. That attention is not a punishment, it's a recognition of your impact. History shows that those who shake the foundations often become targets first, not by accident, but by influence. It's easy to feel exposed when the world seems to be watching. But remember, visibility is power. Every headline written, every rumor circulated is proof that what you're doing matters. Movements are never started in silence. They begin when someone, like you, refuses to play by old rules. Each moment of scrutiny is a test of your resilience, and each challenge is an opportunity to sharpen your focus and strategy. Think of the innovators, the reformers, the visionaries, those who changed entire systems. They weren't invisible. They were noticed, sometimes vilified, but ultimately remembered. Attention, even when unwanted, is a signal. You are no longer just part of the crowd. You have the potential to rewrite the rules, and with that comes responsibility, strategy, and undeniable influence. On the surface, everything seems calm. Headlines scream neutrality. Social media amplifies a controlled narrative. But behind the scenes, the truth is far more intense. Closed-door meetings are convened, plans are rewritten, and quiet panic spreads among those used to unchecked power. What is shown to the public is carefully curated, a polished story designed to distract. Off camera, decisions are being questioned, strategies reevaluated, and new variables, like you, are forcing change. The world is full of examples. Crises that appeared manageable in public often had critical decisions being made in private that defined the outcome. Governments, corporations, and institutions rarely act in full transparency. The quiet corners, the emergency meetings, the rushed memos, these are the real story. And now, you are a part of that story, whether you intended to be or not. This is an important reminder. Appearances are rarely the full picture. When you find yourself under scrutiny, remember that the visible chaos is just the tip of the iceberg. The real change, the real pressure, happens in the shadows. And the fact that you are affecting even the hidden layers proves your growing influence. Power survives on predictability. When rules are bent, when systems are disrupted, it triggers uncertainty. Suddenly, those in control realize that the old ways no longer work. Your actions, your voice, your ideas have introduced unpredictability, and unpredictability is the enemy of control. Panic spreads quietly but aggressively because no one wants to admit the structures they built are now vulnerable. Look at history. Movements that started with a single individual or a small group caused massive shifts simply because they challenged the expected order. Power structures have to act, often frantically, to protect themselves. That reaction is proof of your effectiveness. The fear you sense around you is evidence that your presence has weight and consequence. This panic is not a reflection of your weakness. It's an acknowledgement of your growing influence. When those in power feel threatened, it's a signal. You're now a force to be reckoned with. Recognize it, embrace it, and use it strategically. Every system in chaos has openings. Every power structure in panic has blind spots. And those blind spots are where real change begins. There is a subtle but undeniable transition that happens when someone goes from being overlooked to being watched. At first, you might feel invisible, unheard, dismissed. Then comes the shift. Suddenly, your actions are tracked, your voice amplified, and your influence undeniable. Being monitored is not a limitation. It's a confirmation of your rising impact. Think of whistleblowers, innovators, and disruptors throughout history. At first, the world ignored them. Then, institutions, competitors, and skeptics all realized they could no longer be overlooked. Monitoring doesn't mean weakness. It signals relevance. You've moved from being background noise to a key variable that others must account for, whether they like it or not. This is a critical juncture. Awareness of scrutiny allows you to operate smarter, not just louder. Every step you take now has potential ripple effects. The shift from being ignored to being monitored is not a warning. It's an opportunity to assert your influence with precision, strategy, and foresight. When the powerful gather behind closed doors, it's not always for strategy. It's often for survival. They whisper, negotiate, and plan because the world outside is moving faster than their control. And now, you are part of that equation. Your presence, your awareness, and your influence are causing anxiety that wasn't there before. Fear is contagious. When decision makers are unsure, hesitation spreads, leaks happen, and cracks appear in even the strongest facades. This is where you gain leverage. Every time they act from fear, it exposes opportunities that can be seized, not through recklessness, but through informed, deliberate action. Remember, fear doesn't have to be debilitating. It can be an indicator, a map pointing to where change is possible. The fact that closed-door rooms are tense because of you is a sign that your strategy, knowledge, and courage are already shifting the balance of power. A system in control is silent, steady, and confident. But when it loses grip, cracks appear, inconsistencies show, and accountability fades. This exposure is not a weakness, it's a revelation. What you see in chaos is the skeleton of the system, the exact points where influence and action can be most effective. Every leak, every contradiction, every panic move is a lesson. Systems are vulnerable not because they lack strength, but because they overestimate their stability. This moment, chaotic as it may feel, is rich with opportunity for those who observe carefully and act deliberately. When systems falter, knowledge becomes power. The more aware you are, the more strategic you can be. Exposure reveals where influence can grow, where decisions can be anticipated, and where change can take root. The very instability that frightens others is your roadmap for action. What people see is rarely the full picture. Narratives are crafted to comfort, to pacify, to maintain a sense of normalcy. The illusion presented to the public is smooth, tidy, and reassuring, but it's a facade. Beneath it, decisions are made, mistakes are covered, and vulnerabilities are hidden. Awareness of this illusion is powerful. Once you recognize that the story presented is not the truth, you are freed from manipulation. You can observe, analyze, and act without distraction. The gap between perception and reality is where strategic thinking and influence thrive. By seeing through the illusion, you stop being a passive observer. You start identifying leverage points, patterns of behavior, and opportunities for meaningful impact. Reality is rarely what it seems, and clarity gives you the edge that others lack. Deals are struck quietly, promises exchanged with no oversight, and decisions made without public scrutiny. The most consequential moves often happen in private, shielded from criticism or consequence. When you recognize this, it becomes clear why accountability is rare and why disruption is necessary. History shows that meaningful change rarely occurs when systems operate in secret. Transparency is the enemy of unchecked power, and your influence, your voice, actions, and insight can illuminate areas others hoped would remain hidden. Being aware of secret deals allows you to anticipate shifts, prepare responses, and act strategically where others remain blind. Understanding these hidden dynamics is empowering. You are no longer navigating in ignorance. You see the mechanisms, the actors, and the leverage points. And with that awareness, you can act decisively, influence effectively, and become a variable that cannot be ignored. Systems are designed to predict behavior, to control the masses, to reduce complexity. But ordinary people, the ones who think, act, and refuse to conform blindly, are unpredictable. You are that variable. You cannot be fully anticipated, constrained, or neutralized. Every movement, every innovation, every shift in power began with ordinary people refusing to accept the status quo. Systems panic not because of institutions failing, but because human agency cannot be contained. The more ordinary people act with awareness, strategy, and courage, the more unmanageable the system becomes. Recognize the power in your ordinary status. Your individuality, your choices, and your actions matter more than you think. Every decision you make contributes to a collective unpredictability that can shape the future. Ordinary people are not powerless. They are the spark that ignites transformation. Knowledge is dangerous when it disrupts comfort. The more aware you become, the more threatening you are to those who rely on ignorance to maintain control. Awareness shifts power, transforms decisions, and creates a ripple effect that cannot be contained. This threat is precisely why attention is now on you. Being informed, strategic, and alert transforms ordinary choices into powerful tools of influence. Every step you take is observed, measured, and reacted to, which amplifies your impact without extra effort. Awareness is not just self-preservation, it's empowerment. By understanding the systems, the structures, and the weaknesses, you become capable of acting with clarity, precision, and confidence. In a world that fears knowledge, your awareness is your greatest strength. Pawns are predictable, constrained, and easily replaced. You are none of those things. Your actions disrupt expectations, challenge norms, and force systems to adapt. Being a disruption is a position of power, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Every time you act strategically, every time you question assumptions, every time you refuse to conform, you signal that you are no longer bound by old rules. Disruption is not chaos. It is intentional change. The difference between a pawn and a disruptor is awareness and action. Embrace it, understand it, use it. Your presence, your voice, and your choices are catalysts. The system may resist, but resistance only confirms your significance. Disruption is influence, and influence is the first step toward transformation. Fear is the weapon wielded by those who wish to control. Panic, doubt, confusion, these are designed to paralyze. But clarity disarms fear. Knowledge, preparation, and deliberate action turn uncertainty into strategy. When fear appears around you, don't absorb it. Observe it, learn from it. Use it to identify weaknesses, anticipate reactions, and position yourself advantageously. The clearer your understanding, the more confident your moves. Clarity allows you to operate with precision where others flounder. Fear may drive chaos, but clarity drives results. The sharper your focus, the stronger your influence, and the more unshakable your position becomes. It may feel like everything is falling apart, but what you're witnessing is exposure, not collapse. When structures falter, weaknesses surface. Systems are not failing. They are revealing the cracks that have always existed, the vulnerabilities that were hidden by routine and assumption. Exposure is an invitation to act. It's a chance to see the truth, to understand the inner workings, and to respond with strategy rather than reaction. Those who panic see only chaos. Those who understand see opportunity. Your role is to navigate exposure with precision, observe patterns, identify gaps, and step in where action matters. History favors those who act decisively when truth is visible, not those who wait for perfection. Exposure is your cue to lead, influence, and reshape outcomes. True power rarely announces itself. It operates in silence, strategy, and timing. Strength, however, is deliberate. It analyzes, adapts, and moves with purpose. The difference between those who control and those who endure is not visibility, it's execution. Being strategic did not mean being loud or reactive. It means understanding the forces at play, anticipating reactions, and positioning yourself where impact is maximized. Smart movement trumps raw force. Every subtle step compounds into influence that cannot be ignored. Strength is about choices, not chaos. It's about mastering your environment, shaping your path, and leveraging circumstances, rather than being swept away by them. Power may scare, but true strength builds quietly, intelligently, and sustainably. The world will notice, comment, and react. Headlines will appear, rumors will circulate, and public attention will intensify. But a headline is not a conclusion. It's the start of your next chapter. What others see is only the surface. What you do next defines your story. Every headline is an opportunity to reassess, to pivot, and to amplify impact. You are not defined by perception. You are defined by action. The narrative that others attempt to control is just the canvas. You hold the brush. Embrace the challenge. Lean into the scrutiny. Understand that attention, pressure, and visibility are all signals of influence. The headline is not the finish line. It is the launchpad for strategic, intelligent, and transformative action. The real story is yours to write. You didn't intend to challenge the status quo, but your actions have shaken the foundation of comfort that power relies on. What they assumed would remain untouched is now in motion. Every step you take resonates beyond what you can see, making those who underestimated you rethink their positions. History teaches that those who push boundaries often awaken fear in systems built to maintain control. Innovators, whistleblowers, and leaders have always been the ones who cross the line, challenging old rules and inspiring change. This isn't recklessness, it's influence. Recognize the gravity and the opportunity. Crossing their perceived safe line puts you in a rare position. You're no longer following the rules, you are rewriting them. The hesitation you feel is natural, but every great change began with a single moment of courage and defiance. Now that you're noticed, every step matters. Your decisions are observed, analyzed, and anticipated. But this isn't intimidation, it's validation. Your influence is so significant that the system is forced to account for you. Think of chess. Each piece has a role, but the one that others underestimate often changes the game. Being calculated against means you are a force, a disruptor, and a variable they cannot ignore. Use this awareness to stay one step ahead, not frozen in fear. Every choice is an opportunity to influence outcomes. Precision matters more than speed. Every calculated move you make adds pressure on outdated structures while building your path forward. You're no longer reacting, you're shaping. They fear you because they can't control what they see. Visibility, in a world built on silence and manipulation, is power. When others try to hide, you shine a light on opportunities and truth. This exposure is not vulnerability, it's leverage. The more visible you become, the harder it is for systems to dismiss you. Every action, every statement, every idea has amplified effect. Being noticed isn't a risk, it's a platform. Great leaders have always used visibility to force accountability, ignite movements, and inspire action. Embrace it, own it. Visibility transforms pressure into performance, observation into influence, and scrutiny into credibility. When attention follows you, you are no longer small. You are undeniable. Fear is inevitable. Those who feel it often freeze, but resolve turns fear into fuel. The moments that seem overwhelming are the exact opportunities to rise above. While others crumble under pressure, you can harness it to sharpen strategy, focus intent, and define purpose. Consider history's disruptors. The difference between success and failure often wasn't the absence of fear, but the ability to channel it into action. Fear is a universal force, but those who transform it into resolve create lasting impact. This is your invitation. Face the fear, study it, and convert it into your advantage. Ordinary fear meets extraordinary resolve in moments like these, and your choices now determine how unstoppable you can become. Institutions, structures, and power networks are designed for predictability. They expect compliance, conformity, and passivity. But you are unpredictable, analytical, and strategic, a thinking variable that disrupts their equilibrium. Every time you question norms, analyze patterns, or act with intent, you force systems to react. This is exactly why they resist. But resistance is evidence. You are effective. If you were inconsequential, they wouldn't notice. Being a variable is a gift, not a burden. Your independence, intellect, and foresight allow you to operate where others fail. Systems may scramble, but you can move with clarity, influence outcomes, and create advantage. When the weight of observation, scrutiny, and opposition builds, most crumble. But pressure is not an enemy, it's a lens. It exposes weaknesses, reveals blind spots, and highlights areas where action can have maximum impact. Think of diamonds. Extreme pressure transforms carbon into brilliance. Systems, like diamonds, reveal their vulnerabilities under stress. Your awareness allows you to see these opportunities while others panic or hide. Leverage pressure. Don't fear it. Every challenge is a doorway to influence, a chance to assert control in ways others didn't anticipate. Those who act under pressure shape outcomes. They don't simply react to them. Every pushback, critique, or attempt to suppress you is confirmation that your presence matters. Systems, people, and institutions only resist what they cannot control. Resistance isn't rejection, it's proof of impact. Look at movements, innovations, and revolutions. Opposition was always the signal that change was underway. Those who persist through resistance are the ones who ultimately shift paradigms. Recognize the value in resistance. Each obstacle, criticism, or attempt to undermine you is a roadmap for strategic action. Where others see barriers, you see confirmation. You are on the right path, and your influence is real. Raw power is tempting, but strategy endures. Systems may react to brute force, but deliberate, calculated moves shape lasting outcomes. Strength alone can intimidate, but intelligence transforms intimidation into advantage. Consider great leaders and innovators. They relied on foresight, patience, and planning to achieve impact. Strength is temporary, but strategic action resonates, multiplies, and compounds over time. Your advantage lies in your mind. Observation, calculation, and patience allow you to anticipate moves, exploit weaknesses, and turn situations to your favor. Strength follows clarity. Clarity beats chaos. Being watched is not punishment, it's acknowledgement. When others monitor your every step, it's proof that what you are doing matters. Scrutiny validates your influence in ways few understand. Think of innovators, leaders, and changemakers. Scrutiny follows impact. Those who achieve results are always observed, challenged, and questioned. It's not coincidence, it's recognition. Own your visibility. Use scrutiny as a compass. Every watchful eye is evidence that your actions are consequential, your strategy effective, and your influence undeniable. Systems falter, crises emerge, and noise escalates. But chaos is fleeting. Opportunity, however, is enduring. Where others panic, you can identify openings, craft solutions, and assert control. History shows that in moments of upheaval, those who act decisively emerge stronger. They leverage the uncertainty to position themselves, influence outcomes, and redefine rules. Chaos may test you, but opportunity rewards you. Focus on the long game. Noise fades, panic subsides, but opportunity, carefully observed and acted upon, creates lasting influence. Chaos is temporary. Strategy is permanent. Others may attempt to define you, your actions, or your impact. Headlines, rumors, and commentary are external interpretations, but you hold the power to shape the story. Reacting is passive. Leading the narrative is power. History rewards those who control perception. By acting decisively, communicating strategically, and demonstrating value, you assert influence over the narrative instead of being constrained by it. Your voice, clarity, and actions define reality. Don't let external chatter dictate your direction. You are the author of your story, the architect of influence, and the shaper of outcomes. Influence isn't instantaneous. It's forged through repeated action, observation, and strategic persistence. Every small decision, every calculated step, compounds into unstoppable momentum. The systems you challenge may push back, but persistence transforms resistance into opportunity. The longer you maintain clarity, focus, and strategic action, the more powerful your impact becomes. Momentum is your ally. It turns individual actions into collective influence, obstacles into lessons, and scrutiny into validation. Keep moving, stay disciplined, and watch as consistent effort becomes undeniable force. The world changes, systems evolve, and challenges shift constantly. Those who fail are rigid. Those who succeed are adaptable. Adaptability isn't surrender. It's mastery of circumstance, foresight, and strategy. Every unexpected turn, obstacle, or shift in pressure is an opportunity to demonstrate flexibility and intelligence. The more adaptable you are, the more unpredictable you become. And unpredictability is power. Adaptation allows you to respond faster, move smarter, and exploit opportunities others miss. It's not about reacting, it's about controlling outcomes through intelligent, flexible action. Control, recognition, and results are driven by influence. Money, position, or authority are fleeting, but influence shapes decisions, motivates action, and transforms systems. Every choice you make, every insight you share, every action you take compounds your influence. Those who understand this build networks, create movements, and achieve what seems impossible. Your task is simple. Cultivate awareness, act strategically, and build influence. It's the currency that lasts beyond scrutiny, headlines, and temporary power. Influence makes you indispensable. Being noticed is not the finish line. It's the starting point. The moment you become visible, monitored, and discussed is when the real work begins. The system reacts, observers watch, and the world waits to see if you will rise or falter. This is the arena where clarity, strategy, courage, and resilience are tested. Your next moves will define your trajectory, not the attention itself. The spotlight is a challenge, not a reward. Embrace it fully. This is the stage where impact is measured, influence is earned, and legacy is forged. The headline is history. Your actions now define the future.